I can still recall the day I said it. The words that would change everything between us. Words I could never take back. "You're not enough for me," I whispered one quiet evening, believing I was being honest, convinced I was speaking my truth. But I didn't realize in that moment that I was speaking the end of us. He looked at me with that familiar calm I had always found comforting. I expected him to argue, to reassure me, to remind me of the love I had always overlooked in his steady presence. But instead, he fell silent. That quiet was heavier than any scream, more punishing than I could have imagined. That night, he packed a single bag, just enough for himself, and I watched, frozen by shock, guilt, and the sudden realization that the life I had taken for granted was crumbling before me. I didn't stop him, not because I wanted him gone, but because I couldn't face the consequences of my own words. I had spent years assuming he would always be there, that his patience, love, and quiet strength were endless. That night, I learned they were not, and my selfishness had finally caught up with me. The first morning he was gone, I wandered through our home. The space that had once felt safe now felt hollow, echoing with memories of laughter, arguments, and quiet moments that had once felt peaceful, but now reminded me of everything I had destroyed. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the empty chair across from me, feeling truly, utterly alone for the first time. It was strange, being alone after having been surrounded by him for so long. And yet here I was, chest sinking as if pulled into the floor. I remembered every complaint, every small thing I had dismissed, his habits, his preferences, his quiet ways of showing love, and realized I had never truly appreciated him until he was gone. Every memory that once made me smile now made me ache. I tried calling him, texting him, sending messages filled with apologies and promises. Nothing reached him. I watched his phone light up with notifications that weren't for me. Each vibration sank my heart further, because I knew he was moving on, leaving the betrayal behind, while I remained trapped in the web of my own making. I thought about the life we had built, the home, the routines, the inside jokes only we understood, and I realized I had thrown it all away for a feeling I couldn't even define. For a sense of dissatisfaction, I had convinced myself I needed escape. I had imagined freedom, excitement, fulfillment, but all it did was leave me hollow. I had destroyed the person who had loved me unconditionally, and in doing so, I had destroyed the version of myself I once liked. Guilt settled over me like a permanent shadow. I began to see the truth of my mistakes in every reflection, in every quiet moment alone with my thoughts. I realized love is not about constant thrill or personal fulfillment. It's about commitment, patience, and seeing the beauty in someone even when they aren't perfect. And I had failed. I had looked at him and noticed only what I thought was missing, never what he had given. The way he held me when I was sick, laughed at my terrible jokes, forgave me even when I faltered. I had taken him for granted. Now he was gone, and there was no way to bring him back. I reached out to friends and family, tried to fill the void with work, distractions, social media, anything to feel less empty, but nothing worked. The emptiness followed me everywhere, a constant reminder of my selfishness. I thought about the future, about rebuilding. But some things cannot be repaired with time or effort. Some words are irreversible. Some losses are permanent. I imagined him smiling, moving forward in a life I had destroyed, and I hated myself for it. Hated myself for being blind to what I had until it was gone. I tried to imagine forgiveness, reconciliation, but every scenario felt hollow because the foundation of trust had been shattered. Once broken, trust can never return to its original form. I had thought I was brave, honest, independent, but what I truly needed was humility, patience, and the courage to see the value in someone else. And I had failed utterly. Nights are the hardest. The darkness reminds me of him, of the warmth of his arms, the quiet security I used to feel. I lie awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, every small moment, every word that led here. I am haunted, not by anger, not by sadness, but by the crushing weight of regret. I am left to face the consequences of my choices, heavier than I ever imagined. I wonder if he remembers the good times, or if my words have replaced them with betrayal and hurt. I wonder if he thinks of me at all, or if I am already a shadow in his past. I understand now what it truly means to be alone, not just physically, but in spirit, separated from the person who mattered most, because of my own decisions. I try to forgive myself, to imagine a future where I am happy, whole again, but the mirror reflects only my mistakes. And yet, I know I must go on, learn from this, accept that my happiness cannot come at the cost of someone else's. I must understand the gravity of words, the power they hold, and the irreversible damage they can cause. I must grow not for him, not for anyone, but for myself. And perhaps one day, if I truly change, I will love in a way that honors the trust and devotion I once destroyed. But for now, I sit in silence, alone, staring at the walls we once shared, thinking about a man who was enough in every way, and realizing I failed to see it. The weight of that failure is all that remains. I wait, not for him, not for forgiveness, not for reconciliation, but for the day I can accept my choices, face my guilt, and learn to live with the emptiness I created. Because that is the price of my words. That is the consequence of telling someone they are not enough.